Chapter 8. Nora. Ryan is going to kill me. It's 7:30 a.m. and I'm clinging to a pink box filled with Ryan's birthday cake as my driver pulls up to his apartment. It's times like these that make me wonder if I'm taking my career too seriously. I've become so invested in greater good that I forgot I made plans to celebrate Ryan's birthday with him last night. I should have at least had the decency to remember it was his birthday when all he wanted to do was celebrate it with me. As I pass a group of kids on the sidewalk, I notice them watching Greater Good on one of their phones. At this point, it doesn't surprise me. Greater Good is the most Googled TV show on the internet. Since I was on Danny Davis's talk show, I can't even buy a bagel without someone asking for my autograph. I use a spare key Ryan gave me a while back to enter his building. When the elevator opens, my eyes land on a poster advertising Monday night watch parties on the building's rooftop. Enjoy Greater Good with the greatest neighbors. When the elevator opens, I fix my hair in my phone screen's reflection, then knock on Ryan's door. Eyes, chin, shoulders. My posture follows. After a few knocks, the door opens to a view I'd never get tired of. Shirtless Ryan. I'm at eye level with his bare chest, and while I want to straddle him in the hallway, I manage to lift the box between us. I try to appear as cute and innocent as possible. Happy birthday? The words leave my lips in the form of a question. Don't hate me. Ryan rubs his sleepy eyes with his palms before turning back into his apartment. I take it as a cue to follow him inside. My eyes pan around his apartment and it dawns on me that I haven't been here since we first met. He's always made an effort to come see me. It's not a spacious apartment by any means, nor are there any decorations. It's a minimalist paradise. An empty glass, half a bottle of whiskey, and an empty pizza box are spread across Ryan's coffee table. Judging by his appearance, there's no way he plans to go to work today. He sprawls himself on the couch, wearing nothing but his gray sweatpants. His messy hair hangs over both sides of his emotionless face as he glares at me from across the room. He doesn't give a shit about the cake I got him. I'm sorry. I set the cake box on the kitchen counter. You can say it. I'm a bitch for standing you up last night. Ryan leans forward, resting his chin on his fist. He stares at the blank TV screen in front of him. I assume he's choosing his words carefully before he speaks. Maybe I have been too focused on work because his disappointment in me is coming across as a shocker. There wasn't a person in my life who gave a shit about me besides my dad, who I lost a long time ago. Since then, feelings have become foreign to me. Being raised by a man who hunted for sport taught me more valuable lessons than I could count on one hand. One of those lessons involved never needing to depend on anybody but myself for anything. The idea of depending on anybody, especially for love, never seemed appealing. Love won't immortalize me. Fame will. Love dies with the person. On the other hand, fame will live on longer than the person's lifetime. So why would I ever settle for love? While still staring blankly at the screen, Ryan says, "My birthday is beside the point, Nora." He looks up at me. "I'm in love with you." His words force me back a step. Falling for each other was never even a boundary we set because we both considered it impossible from the beginning. Or at least, I considered it impossible. You can't, I stutter. You can't be in love with me? Ryan buries his face in his palms. I know we set boundaries. I know we agreed that all this would ever be is physical, but that was years ago. I know deep down that what I feel toward you is more than physical. This is real. Warmth flows through me as I catch a glimpse of his light I was once familiar with. The same light that dissolved when Greater Good first aired. You know what we have is real, and you're wrong. I can be in love with you. I've been in love with you for a while now. I see a sense of hope weaving through his iris. I wonder what he sees in mine. I wonder if he sees my potential the way Samuel does. I wonder if he sees how devoted I am to building a legacy of my own. I wonder if he sees how in love I am with my craft and what I've been called to accomplish by death, and how loving him back is exactly what I need to avoid right now. I pinch my eyebrows together. Why now? Of all times, why are you telling me this while Greater Good is taking off? Ryan stands, his face softening as he steps closer. Ever since you created this show, you haven't been the same. Mendax, the fame, even Roth, they're consuming you. I see it when I look at you. I feel it when I touch you. He caresses the side of my face with his palm, which I'm quick to push away. You're taking this whole morbid thing too far. You've gone cold. We can't be anything more than what we already are, I state dryly. His face flattens. What are we then? We're nothing. You're my assistant. Ryan clenches his jaw and I instantly regret saying the words because it's a lie. He's more. For the first time since we met, he turns his back on me. A part of me thinks it could also be the last time, and as harsh as it sounds, I'm okay with that. I have no choice but to be okay with that. I'm shooting for the stars while this boy is down on his knees. Ryan sits back down on the couch. You're all I have. He looks up at me, a few strands of long brown hair hanging over his disheartened face as he adds, "If it's not now, it's never." The sincerity in his voice bangs on the door to my heart. For a split second, the thought of letting Ryan in crosses my mind, and I'm forced to consider that it's possible for me to receive and return love. I'm also forced to consider that I've been dealt a hand already, and unfortunately, the cards I can play won't win love, a family, or anything in between. But I can play to win the crowd's praise, to use the gift bestowed upon me by death. I check my phone for the time. Samuel's expecting me at the office within the hour. If this is how it needs to be, then it's never. Ryan doesn't react. I take one last look at the pink box lying on the kitchen counter. While gently sliding it in his direction, I leave him with, "Take today off." Every head turns toward me the moment I walk into Samuel's office. The black marble flooring continues up each wall except for the glass wall separating his office from a view of Times Square. The enormous screens mounted on nearby buildings cast vibrant colors through the windows. Men and women are scattered around the room, the air thickened by an unsettling energy. Samuel motions for me to sit. "Where have you been?" he asks, checking his watch. "Family emergency," I lie. As I sink into the seat next to Samuel, his black eyes burn a hole in my cheek. Family emergency? I'm such a dumbass. A few nights ago, I told him I don't have or even want a family. Regardless, he ignores my response, addressing the group with a lifted chin. "Show Nora what you just showed me," he demands, one of the tiny men standing near a flat-screen TV. As the man presses a series of remote buttons, I scan the room and pick up on an aura of power and influence. The men and women scattered around the room are a blend of calculated ambition and mystery. They carry themselves in a way that mirrors Samuel's authority, their true expressions masked behind practiced smiles. I watch them whisper among each other, their voices weaving webs of deception and manipulation. Ever since I've let death work through me, I've become more in tune with forces beyond human comprehension. It's evident that these people have the same gift. A still image of a man with his head down pops up on the screen. The man in the image is using his right hand to cover his face as he walks away from the— Wait, that's my stage. During the peak moment of last night's episode, a man walked out of the live studio audience, Samuel states, disappointed. "We haven't been able to identify who this man is yet." I remain fixated on the image of the man, his slouched posture hiding his face as he looks away from the winning contestant on stage. Why does it matter? He's just a random guy in the audience. Samuel folds his thin lips between his teeth. Without saying a word, he nods to the man controlling the TV, who pulls up a video of an internet influencer in his bedroom. "Who's the kid?" I ask. Samuel sternly points at the screen. "Watch." "What's up with it?" the kid in the video shouts at the camera. "Finally, somebody steps up against a satanic show. This man's got some serious balls for protesting in the middle of the show. And we can't let him down, y'all. We need to back this guy, whoever he is. Greater good needs to be put to a stop before—" The video pauses as Samuel raises his hand. He looks at me for a response. This kid thinks that a man leaving mid-show was an act of protest? I laugh. The man obviously couldn't stomach the show's climax, so he left. That's not protesting. There isn't a single greater good hater out there. "Show her the next video," Samuel blurts out. A few buttons are clicked and a podcast set is displayed on the screen. "So, let's talk about last night's episode of Greater Good," the podcast host tells her guest. "Hell yeah," the guest replies. "It's amazing how theatrical they make these suicides. A golden hairdryer lowered into a bathtub, that was fucking nuts." The host nods. "It was insane, but really quick, I want to talk about this guy who walked out during the show." Another image appears on the screen, an image of the man leaving the studio captured from a different angle. The host looks directly at the camera. For those unaware, this guy made a huge statement by leaving during the most exciting part of Greater Good last night. It doesn't seem like he was trying to make a scene, but I don't know. It's just crazy because a lot of people would kill to see this show live, and he's walking out during the best part. "So true," the guest chimes in. "I didn't even think there were people who disliked the show. They're making the world a better—" Samuel raises his hand, and the video pauses. The room is silent, the men and women patiently awaiting my response. Am I missing something here? I ask. I don't see what the big deal is. "These two videos alone have over 300,000 views since they were posted today." Samuel's face turns to stone. "That means people have seen this man leaving the show over 300,000 times. In most of the videos being posted, they're labeling him as a protester standing up against greater good. That doesn't seem like a big deal to you? I tilt my head, staring at the still screen. Greater Good has amassed hundreds of millions of views in the weeks we've aired. We're only a handful of episodes into this season, and we're already being nominated for a list of awards industry-wide. So what if some guy walks out during the show and a few 100,000 viewers see it? We're the #1 show in the country, I declare. Is this guy really a threat to us? The people look to Samuel for a response, but not just any response. They expect a specific response, one that I don't seem to pick up on. Whatever it is they get, I don't, and they want him to hammer the message into me until I do. I know you've never performed at this level before, Nora. You don't understand your calling yet. But what you need to understand is that you're gifted like everyone else in this room. Thoughts run through my mind as I process what these people's gifts could be. Do they hear the whisper too? Do they also do death's bidding? Samuel continues. We're not just in the entertainment business. We're controlling the minds of the masses. We're controlling the crowd. He starts pointing out the people in the room. Each person here plays a part in dictating how the crowd views the world through narratives we embed in our viewers' minds. While I've heard Samuel refer to the narrative before, this time is different. As the words pour from his mouth, the energy in the room intensifies. It's a dark energy fueling my ambition as I open myself to Samuel's words. Shadows dance along the silhouettes of the individuals in the room, each embodying a darkness that transcends their personas. What's the narrative? I ask. Samuel stands and places his wiry fingers atop his desk. The point of us instilling our narrative through our media is to control the population, to keep the crowd under our influence. Greater Good is the perfect way for us to desensitize our viewers to violence and death, making it easier for us to weaken their wills. For thousands of years, elites like us have used morbid curiosity to suppress the lower class majority of the world, also known as the crowd. Take the Romans and the Colosseum, for example. The Roman elites made people fight to the death in front of the crowd to distract them. While the crowd was distracted, the elites made decisions for their own gain behind the scenes. Our aim is to manipulate the crowd's moral compass, allowing us to gain control over their minds and actions. When they don't know right from wrong, when they have no ambition, when they have nothing to live for, they're ours to control. I struggle to keep my jaw from dropping. I'm controlling the crowd. Ryan had told me from the beginning that he didn't think this was right, but he doesn't see that I'm more than just a showrunner now. I'm controlling the crowd, weaving our narrative through the minds of the masses. Samuel raises his arm toward a man sitting on a nearby couch. Dr. Bain. Age has etched itself deep into Dr. Bain's round face. Thin strands of gray are neatly combed over his liver-spotted head, the skin on his neck folding over his shirt's collar as he opens the folder in his lap. Since the show aired, we've seen a spike in suicide and crime cases across the country. Domestic abuse, assault, reports of road rage, all increasing by the day. Samuel chimes in. Proof that the crowd is losing the ability to tell right from wrong. We're turning the people against each other. If they're too busy turning against each other, they'll never turn against us. The world becomes what it watches. Win their eyes and you will win their minds. Samuel's wisdom slithers into my mind, his voice laced with insidious allure. The words he speaks infect my confidence like a virus. I'm being handed the power to control the population, to influence the world. I wanted fame, I wanted power, but I'm being offered even more. I'm being offered the world. I remember Ryan accusing me of not being the same since this all began. A part of me knows he's right and has been all along. I've changed, but not for the reason he thinks. I'm greater than I once was. So what do we do about this protester? I ask. Samuel gestures to a woman in the back of the room. Donna, owner and founder of MediaFlow, today's top social media platform. Donna's expression is frozen and unyielding, revealing serious signs of Botox. She remains in a cross-legged position, her essence alone demanding authority. It's an easy fix. We'll skew the social media algorithms to only show content favoring greater good. What does that mean? I ask, leaning forward. It means we will put an extra boost behind any pictures or videos that show greater good in a positive light. Samuel places his hand on my shoulder. This is how we control the narrative, he whispers. The world only sees what we want them to see. Should we also boost content that showcases this protester in a negative light? Donna asks. Not yet. I would rather people not be aware that he exists at all, Samuel replies. But let's all be aware of what this man looks like. He lifts his chin and the screen is turned on again, portraying a pixelated image of the man sitting in the crowd. The man's curly hair has been gelled back, a jagged scar etched along the left side of his face. From now on, I want to collect the contact information of every audience member who attends the live show. This will not happen again. I hear Samuel's voice, but my eyes are fixated on the image of the man on the screen, a threat to the legacy I'm building. The scar along the left side of his face, his stubble and slicked hair. I know this man, whether it be from another life or the one I'm living. I just can't pinpoint who it is. Not yet.